Tesla Cybertrucks are sitting unsold on dealer lots across America right now. 2 million reservations, the most hyped vehicle launch in automotive history. Yet 97.5% of those people walked away. I've spent 30 years in racing. I've built championship cars. I've managed factory partnerships worth hundreds of millions. And I'm telling you, this isn't about ugly design or production delays. This is about what happens when engineering ego collides with market reality. I know this collision intimately. I left Hendrick Motorsports at the peak of my career to build Evernham Motorsports. Factory backing, unlimited resources, championship drivers. The engineering was brilliant, but the business model couldn't sustain the ambition. The Cybertruck follows the same pattern, and the real killer isn't what you see on the surface. It's what owners discovered after they bought in. November 2019, Elon Musk unveils the Cybertruck. Base model, $39,900. That price triggered the reservation surge. 2 million people put down deposits based on that number. They believed they were securing a revolutionary workhorse at a price that made sense. 4 years later, production models arrived. Base rear-wheel drive version, $6,900. Mid-tier all-wheel drive, $79,990. The math is brutal. A minimum 50% price increase from promise to delivery. Of those 2 million reservations, only 2.5% converted to actual purchases. That means 150,000 people walked away when they saw the real numbers. I recognize this pattern immediately. In racing, when you promise a sponsor a certain performance level and deliver something else, they pull funding. Tesla ran that experiment with 2 million customers at once. The market responded exactly how you'd expect. The competition context makes it worse. Ford's F-150 Lightning Pro starts at $49,990, over $11,000 cheaper than the cheapest Cybertruck available. Rivian R1T dual motor sits in the low 70,000s, thousands less than the Cybertruck's mid-tier model. Both competitors offer traditional truck utility. Both deliver on their original price promises. The range promise collapsed the same way. Musk advertised 500 miles. The EPA certified reality for the all-wheel drive model, 340 miles, a 32% cut from the advertised capability. I built the Rainbow Warriors on precision. Every promise we made to sponsors, every performance target we set, we hit them or we explained why we didn't. Tesla made promises they couldn't keep, then asked customers to pay 50% more for 30% less range. That's not innovation. That's a broken contract. The financial reality crushed demand. When your base model costs more than the competition's premium versions, when your promised specs evaporate, the mass market doesn't just hesitate. They vanish. The reservation holders who stayed were true believers, the ones willing to overlook broken promises because they wanted to be part of the revolution. What they discovered next would test even that loyalty. The price wasn't the only thing that didn't match the promise. The engineering created problems money couldn't fix. Problems that turned ownership into a financial trap most buyers never saw coming. The exoskeleton concept sounds revolutionary on paper. Stainless steel body panels that serve as structure, not just cosmetic covering. Tesla marketed it as the future of vehicle construction. I've restored million-dollar classic cars. I understand exotic materials and specialized construction. And I'm telling you, this design is a maintenance nightmare. The steel smudges instantly. Fingerprints become permanent features. Water spots don't wipe away. They become part of the patina. Washing the truck isn't routine maintenance. Owners call it a ceremony. One owner documented spending 40 minutes cleaning the exterior, only to have new fingerprints appear the moment he touched the door handle. Another reported that a single rainstorm left water spots requiring professional detailing to remove. In NASCAR, we obsessed over every surface, every finish. We built cars that could withstand 200 mph winds and still look perfect under TV lights. But there's a difference between precision and obsession. This truck demands obsession just to keep it looking clean. That's not a work vehicle. That's a full-time commitment. The aftermarket problem runs deeper. Traditional truck accessories won't fit the radical design. Bed racks, toolboxes, ladder systems, the entire ecosystem of truck modification is built on decades of Ford, Chevy, and Ram design standards. Aftermarket companies look at the Cybertruck's low production volume and radical geometry and make a business decision. The investment isn't worth it. They're not retooling entire product lines for a truck that can't prove sustained market demand. The result, owners are stuck with a truck that can't be practically customized for work. No ladder racks for contractors, no toolbox systems for tradespeople, no bed management solutions that fit the tonneau cover design. In NASCAR, the aftermarket is everything. Teams need parts, modifications, specialized equipment. When you design something so radical that nobody wants to support it, you've isolated yourself. Tesla built a truck that exists in its own universe, and that universe is empty. The weight crisis compounds everything. At nearly 7,000 pounds, the Cybertruck is one of the heaviest consumer vehicles on American roads. That mass affects braking distances. It accelerates tire wear. It raises questions about parking structure, weight limits, and older bridge ratings. The size problem is worse in practice than on paper. The truck struggles to fit standard parking spaces. Urban garages built for conventional vehicles become obstacle courses. Tight drive-throughs are impossible. The turning radius makes city navigation a challenge. One owner in San Francisco documented spending 15 minutes trying to exit a downtown parking garage, scraping the tonneau cover on the ceiling clearance bar twice before finding an exit that accommodated the height. In NASCAR, we obsessed over removing ounces. Weight is the enemy of performance, handling, and safety. We'd spend thousands of dollars to shave 5 pounds off a car. At 7,000 pounds, this isn't a truck. It's a statement that physics doesn't matter. Every pound counts when you're trying to stop, turn, or navigate real-world infrastructure. The design problems were visible from day one. The internet mocked the aesthetics. Automotive journalists questioned the practicality, but those were subjective criticisms. People could dismiss them as taste or bias. What came next wasn't subjective, it was mathematical. And it turned the Cybertruck from an impractical novelty into a financial liability that insurance companies and repair shops were about to expose in brutal detail. The exoskeleton design created a hidden financial landmine that most buyers never saw coming. I learned about hidden costs the hard way at Evernham Motorsports. Sponsors see the race budget. They don't see the insurance, the retooling, the specialized equipment that only works for your specific operation. Tesla sold a dream. The ownership reality is a financial trap that keeps getting more expensive. Because the stainless steel skin is structural, not cosmetic, any damage isn't a simple body panel replacement. You're repairing the vehicle's structure. That changes everything about cost, complexity, and insurance liability. One test vehicle with moderate rear-end collision damage received a repair estimate $58,000. The insurance company immediately declared it a total loss. The truck wasn't severely damaged by conventional standards, but the structural repair requirements made fixing it more expensive than replacing it. Minor damage tells the same story. A single hit-and-run scratch on one large panel required complete panel refinishing to maintain the uniform stainless steel appearance. The estimate, $2,000. Compare that to a conventional pickup. The same scratch on a Ford F-150 or Ram 1500 runs $300 to $500. Paint touch-up is simple. Panel replacement is standardized. The repair infrastructure exists everywhere. The Cybertruck requires specialized tools and Tesla-certified technicians. Only approved shops can work on the structural stainless steel. Parts availability is limited because production volume is low and the materials are unique. I've managed race teams with exotic materials and specialized construction. Carbon fiber chassis, custom aluminum components, one-off fabrication. I understand what it costs to maintain something rare. The Cybertruck's cost structure makes a 67 Corvette look affordable. At least the Corvette appreciates in value. Insurance companies aren't blind to this math. They're pricing in the repair risk with brutal precision. The average annual cost for full coverage on a Cybertruck, $4,700. The Ford F-150 Lightning, by comparison, averages $2,778 per year. That's a $1,122 annual premium difference. Over a typical 5-year auto loan, that's $9,610 in additional insurance costs alone. One owner documented his insurance shopping experience. He received quotes ranging from $4,200 to $5,800 annually for the same coverage that cost him $2,400 on his previous Ram 1500. Multiple insurers explained the same factors: high repair costs, limited certified repair facilities, expensive replacement parts, and the structural nature of body damage. The total cost of ownership calculation becomes devastating when you add it up. Purchase price, $80,000 for the mid-tier model. Insurance premium penalty over 5 years, $9,610. Then add the exposure risk. One moderate accident could total the vehicle, leaving you with a massive depreciation loss. The repair infrastructure problem extends beyond cost. Wait times for replacement panels stretch for months because Tesla's production volume can't support a robust parts inventory. Owners report trucks sitting in body shops for 8 to 12 weeks waiting for a single replacement panel. One owner in Texas had his truck hit in a parking lot, minor damage to the rear quarter panel. The repair shop gave him a timeline, 6 weeks minimum, possibly longer depending on parts availability. His insurance company provided a rental for 30 days. After that, he paid out of pocket while his $80,000 truck sat unusable. When I ran Evernham Motorsports, parts availability was critical. We needed backup components, replacement systems, redundancy. When you can't get parts, you can't operate. Tesla built a vehicle without the infrastructure to support it. That's not a business model. That's a liability waiting to happen. The financial burden crushed buyer confidence. The reservation holders who survived the price increase couldn't survive the insurance reality. The ones who bought anyway discovered that one accident could financially devastate them. But the financial trap wasn't the final blow. What killed the Cybertruck's mass market appeal was something more fundamental, something that turned the truck from a conversation piece into a cultural flashpoint that made ownership itself a liability. The attention tax, when your truck becomes a target, the Cybertruck doesn't blend in. That was the point. Tesla marketed it as a vehicle that breaks every rule, challenges every convention, makes every head turn. What they didn't advertise was the cost of that attention. I've lived in the spotlight. When you win 3 consecutive championships with Jeff Gordon, when you build the Rainbow Warriors into a dynasty, people recognize you. They have opinions, they want to talk, but I chose that spotlight. Cybertruck owners didn't realize they were choosing it too. Owners report constant staring. People photograph the truck at gas stations and parking lots, at stoplights. Some encounters are curious. Others are openly hostile. The truck has become a cultural flashpoint that divides people on site. In traditional truck markets, Texas, the Midwest, the South, the reaction is particularly harsh. These are regions where trucks represent work, reliability, and practical capability. The Cybertruck's design and the Tesla brand send a different message entirely. Owners in these markets report mockery, aggressive driving around them, and social isolation at job sites. One contractor in Oklahoma bought the truck thinking it would serve his construction business. Within 2 weeks, he stopped driving it to job sites. Other contractors mocked him. Clients questioned his judgment. The truck became a liability to his professional reputation. Jeff Gordon and I built the Rainbow Warriors into a brand people trusted. We understood that brand is everything in business. When your product becomes a punchline, when ownership signals the wrong message to your customer base, you've lost the market. Tesla built a truck that alienates the very people who buy trucks. The social media amplification makes it worse. Viral videos document Cybertruck failures, breakdowns, and design flaws. Each incident becomes content. Each problem becomes proof that the truck doesn't work in the real world. One video showing a Cybertruck stuck in snow accumulated millions of views. Another showing the accelerator pedal issue went viral across platforms. The failures aren't just individual problems. They become cultural narratives that define the brand. You're not buying transportation, you're buying controversy, and controversy has a price. The resale market is exposing that price in real time. Tesla offered one owner a trade-in value of $65,000 for a truck he purchased new in 2024 for $100,000. Low mileage, excellent condition, the depreciation 35% in under 1 year. Conventional trucks take 5 years to lose that much value. The F-150 holds resale value better than almost any vehicle in America. The Ram 1500 depreciates predictably. Even the electric F-150 Lightning maintains stronger residual values than the Cybertruck. The collector phase is ending. Early adopters paid premium prices hoping the truck would appreciate like rare Teslas sometimes do. Instead, inventory is piling up on lots. Production is ramping while demand craters. The scarcity premium evaporated. Used market listings tell the story. Private sellers struggle to move units even at significant discounts. One seller in California listed his truck for $79,000, a $21,000 loss from his purchase price 6 months earlier. After 3 months with no serious offers, he dropped the price to $72,000. In racing, when you build something nobody wants to buy, you're not in business long. Tesla built 2 million dreams and delivered a depreciating liability. The market is correcting for that reality right now. The final numbers reveal the true cost. Purchase price, $80,000. Insurance penalty over 5 years, $9,610. First year depreciation, $28,000. Total first-year cost of ownership, $117,610. That's before the first repair, before the first specialized maintenance, before the cultural exhaustion of defending your purchase decision to everyone who sees you drive it. The attention isn't free, it's expensive, and the market decided it cost too much. The Cybertruck didn't fail because it was ugly. It failed because Tesla built the vehicle for engineers, not customers. The broken price promise destroyed trust. The impractical design killed utility. The catastrophic repair cost created financial risk. The cultural rejection made ownership exhausting. Each failure alone would damage sales. Together, they created a perfect storm that sank demand. I see the parallel to my own story with painful clarity. I left Hendrick Motorsports at the peak to build my own team. I had Dodge factory backing, unlimited resources, Casey Kahn, Elliott Sadler, championship caliber drivers. On paper, everything was perfect, but I didn't have a sustainable financial model. Evernham Motorsports burned through factory money building race-winning cars. The engineering was brilliant. The ambition was real. But when Dodge shifted priorities and pulled manufacturer support, the financial foundation collapsed. The business model couldn't survive without the factory money that initially made it possible. Tesla made the same mistake. They built a vehicle that only works if customers ignore the math. The Cybertruck needs buyers willing to pay $80,000, accept $4,700 annual insurance, risk $58,000 repair bills, and deal with constant public attention. That's not a mass market. And that's a cult. And the cult wasn't big enough. The engineering ego drove every decision. The stainless steel exoskeleton looked revolutionary in concept drawings. In practice, it created maintenance nightmares and repair catastrophes. The radical design made a statement. It also made the truck incompatible with the entire aftermarket ecosystem that truck buyers depend on. The 7,000-pound mass demonstrated battery capacity and structural strength. It also demonstrated that Tesla prioritized engineering metrics over real-world usability. Owners can't park it. Insurance companies won't reasonably cover it. Repair shops can't fix it affordably. I wanted to prove I could succeed without Jeff Gordon. Tesla wanted to prove they could redefine trucks. We both learned the same lesson. The market doesn't care about your ego. It cares about value, reliability, and whether you deliver what you promised. The Cybertruck is a $100,000 lesson in the cost of ignoring practical reality. Revolutionary design means nothing if the market can't afford to own it. Ambitious engineering means nothing if it creates problems customers can't solve. Tesla built a truck for Mars and tried to sell it on Earth. The physics didn't work. The economics didn't work. The market responded with brutal honesty. Ambition without sustainable infrastructure collapses under its own weight. I learned it when Dodge pulled factory support. Tesla learned it when 1,950,000 reservation holders walked away. Build what the customer needs, not what your ego wants. That's the lesson both Tesla and I paid dearly to learn. The Cybertruck proves market fundamentals still matter in the age of hype. You can't promise $40,000 and deliver $80,000. You can't build impractical engineering and expect practical buyers. I learned this lesson the hard way. Tesla is learning it now. If you want to see what smart engineering looks like when it's done right, watch this next video, 7 most underrated cars on the market today.